What's up YouTube, it's we're back at it again with another video. I've got coffee, and in this video today we're going through the best and the safest ways to buy Bitcoin for the lowest fees possible. No one likes fees. I really hate fees, and so I try to avoid them whenever I can. And I'm gonna help you avoid fees whenever you can as well. Because I really care about you and I want you to get a good price on Bitcoin. So if you watch this video to the end, you're gonna get, for your personal situation, what is the best way for you to be buying Bitcoin? Are you buying small amounts? Are you buying large amounts? Are you buying on a schedule? Are you a programmer? All of that is gonna be here in this video for you. So sit back, relax, smash the like button for YouTube algorithm, and enjoy the safest way to buy Bitcoin with low fees. Let's go. Real fast. Before we jump in, I'm gonna go over some best practices. These are some things that you're gonna wanna do regardless of what your situation is. First of all, you should always be funding your Bitcoin exchange account through ACH bank transfers, not through debit cards, not through credit cards. This is because every service in this video, ACH bank transfers, as of the filming of this video, ACH bank transfers are completely free, no fees. However, if you're buying with a debit or credit card, there's gonna be 3% fees, really nasty. You wanna avoid that at all costs if you can. So remember, ACH, bank transfers on all of these things, general best practice. Now let's jump into the video. All right, first things first, for my dollar cost averaging purchases, these are the purchases that I make every single day, usually a very small amount of Bitcoin, between $10 and $20. For those purchases, I do all of them through Coinbase Pro. I use Coinbase Pro because it was the first platform that I got into that had a really easy to understand interface. Very easy to go on there and just buy and sell Bitcoin. Additionally, they have pretty low 0.5% trading fees. So if you made a buy for $20, you would only be paying 10 cents in fees. Additionally, they also have small withdrawal fees that I've seen range anywhere between 20 cents and $2 based on the size of your transfer and just based on the current state of Bitcoin fees in the ecosystem. These are on-chain transaction fees, and so you can't really get away from these. These are inherent to how Bitcoin works. Even if I was just sending you Bitcoin, there would be an on-chain transaction fee, and that's basically just so that the miners can validate that the transaction happened according to plan and that there were no major hiccups in the blockchain during my transaction to you. And so when those miners allocate hash power, they're going through validating transactions, and then you're paying the miner with the fee that was associated to our transaction. And then additionally, the big reason that I use Coinbase Pro for dollar cost averaging is last week I made a video, I'll link it up in the cards here, how to automate your dollar cost averaging purchases with Coinbase Pro. That's really the biggest draw of Coinbase Pro for me. They have a really easy to use API if you're familiar with programming at all. We'll see some other options later for programmatic purchases that are a little bit more difficult but a little bit more fee friendly. So you can sort of pick your poison here. But Coinbase Pro's API, really easy for depositing the money, making the transactions, and then withdrawing the money if you want to withdraw the money somewhere. So those are all things that the Coinbase Pro API makes very easy and still allows you to get those 0.5% fee buys, just like if you were going onto the exchange and making your purchases there. That video that I linked up in the cards that I made last week about how to automate your purchases is a little bit technical, so if you're not super familiar with programming, but you do want to get started dollar cost averaging Bitcoin on a daily, weekly, or monthly schedule right away, I suggest that you check out Swan Bitcoin. If you go over to Swan Bitcoin, you're going to be able to automate your purchases as soon as possible. And that's because they handle that entire stack of functionality that I just talked to you about totally for you through their own interface. And so that's, again, automatically depositing your money, automatically making purchases, and then automatically withdrawing to your cold storage, maybe your Ledger device, or your hot storage, maybe a BlockFi wallet that's going to earn you interest. Swan Bitcoin has a 0.99% purchase fee if you purchase $50 or more per week, and it has 0 transfer fees. This fee structure makes it cheaper than both regular Coinbase and Cash App. However, it isn't cheaper than that 0.5% fee structure that we just outlined that you could be getting at Coinbase Pro. And so even though Swan's fees are a little bit higher, you're really paying for the convenience. You're paying for the convenience of them automating your deposits. You're paying for the convenience of them automating your purchases on whatever schedule you want to set. And you're paying for the convenience of them automatically withdrawing your Bitcoin off of their Swan exchange and into your cold storage wallet or into your hot storage BlockFi wallet. So if you go over to swanbitcoin.com/RETRE, you're going to get that full automation ready for you out of the gate. Basically, you're not gonna have to program anything. And then additionally, if you use that link, Swan Bitcoin is gonna give you $10 of Bitcoin drop straight into your account. If you use that link, it's really gonna help out the channel, which I would really appreciate. I love all of you. And it's gonna help you get started dollar cost averaging Bitcoin right away, which in my opinion is the most conservative strategy for getting into Bitcoin. You don't wanna be buying consistently at tops. You don't wanna have your psychology manipulated by media hype. Oh, I'm gonna buy at 40,000 because everyone's talking about Bitcoin, but then you forget to buy at 33,000 because nobody's talking about Bitcoin. So you wanna set a consistent schedule where you can be purchasing over and over and over again at the whole wide range of prices so that you're not constantly buying at all-time highs and then feeling stupid about your purchases. So at this point, if any of you super techie guys are like, hey Rhett, Swan Bitcoin is great and all, it's so cool that they automate all of my purchases for me, but the fees are a little high. And I'm a super techie and I want to program my own API that's gonna automate the trades for me. I don't need someone else to do it. I'll do it myself. What's the lowest fee way to do that? And the answer is Gemini. Gemini has great fees on their API purchases. It's 0.1% for maker fees, which is basically you making a limit order and providing liquidity to the market. And then it's 0.35%, which is lower than Coinbase Pro's 0.5% for taker fees, which is you executing a buy order at market price and taking liquidity out of the market. Additionally, Gemini has 0 transfer fees when you're transferring less than 10 times per month, which that's huge. That on-chain transaction fee that we talked about earlier that Coinbase charges you, Gemini doesn't even charge you that. So they're eating that cost whenever you transfer your Bitcoin out of their wallets and into your hot wallet, BlockFi, or into your cold storage or wherever you're storing your Bitcoin. So this rate really blows the competition out of the water in my opinion, and the 0 transfer fees thing is huge. However, I went to implement their API and it's a little more complicated than just using Coinbase Pro's API. I haven't totally figured out yet how to take advantage of the 0.1% market maker fees. If I ever do figure that out, I'll make a blog post and I'll make a video about it, because if you were able to take advantage of Gemini's fees like this, you're gonna end up paying 5 times less fees versus the Coinbase Pro method, the 0.1% versus Coinbase Pro's 0.5%. And that's gonna save you a ton of money in the long term. So I'm sort of in the middle of moving my strategy over to Gemini. I made that video last week about Coinbase Pro, so if you do wanna get started right away with a technical solution, you can go ahead to that video. But I think long term, the best answer for API purchases is gonna be Gemini. Here's a quick honorable mention. When I was doing research for this video, I was worried that the strategies that I was currently employing were not the best strategies. Spoiler alert, they were the best strategies because I know the best things. But people talk about Kraken all the time and how great Kraken is. Kraken is another US based exchange that I've used once or twice, but I haven't really dug too deeply into. And if you look at their fees on the surface, their fees for single purchases are between 0 and 0.25%, which you're thinking right off the bat, wow, that's crazy. That's half or none versus Coinbase Pro's fees. You're paying half in the worst case, the 0.25%. And it's even better than Gemini's API fees for taker orders. This is crazy. Why wouldn't everyone use Kraken? And so then if you dig a little bit deeper, you see that the withdrawal fee from Kraken is a static 0.00015 Bitcoin withdrawal fee, which currently it's at current prices is about $5, which is huge. And then you layer on top a 0.25% transaction fee. And if they keep the withdrawal fee at 0.00015 Bitcoin, as the price of Bitcoin goes up, the withdrawal fee gets higher and higher and higher. So I think at this point, I'm gonna totally stay away from Kraken. If you use Kraken, try not to do transfers that often. It's really good if you just wanna keep your money on Kraken, which you're taking a little risk there. I wouldn't do it, but you know, to each his own. It would be kind of good if you were transferring large amounts of Bitcoin, but I have an even better service for you if you're looking to transfer large amounts of Bitcoin. For large one-time purchases, I've been using Jack Mallers' app, Strike. Strike has recently been in the news for facilitating Carolina Panthers offensive tackle Russell Okung's move to get paid half of his salary from the NFL in Bitcoin. Jack Mallers described Strike as a Bitcoin native neobank, which I have no idea what that means. Basically, Strike allows you to transfer money from one Strike user to another Strike user, just like Venmo or PayPal or Cash App. But what makes Strike really, really interesting is that instead of sending $10 from me to $10 to you. What Strike actually does is it takes my $10, converts it into Bitcoin on the back end, converts it back into US dollars, and then delivers it to you. This might not sound that crazy or that unique or that interesting, but it actually is a complete game changer. So how can you buy Bitcoin with Strike? It's super easy. You just take the public key from your cold storage or your hot storage wallet, whatever the wallet is that you're using. You take that public key that you were gonna send Bitcoin to anyway, you copy that public key into Strike, and then Strike takes US dollars straight from your bank account that you've deposited into Strike and sends it as Bitcoin to that wallet. And the best part about this is Strike takes no fee at all. The fee that you see as part of this transaction is the on-chain miner fee that's going to the miners to validate the transaction. And that was the important distinction about buying on Coinbase and buying on Kraken, was that when we were purchasing the Bitcoin, we were getting it for 0 to 2.5% on Kraken and 0.5% on Coinbase. But then on top of that, you're paying the on-chain miner transaction fee when you withdraw your Bitcoin. On Kraken, that's a static high $5 fee, which you're getting for about the same, a little bit less on Strike. But you're not paying the 0 to 0.25% transaction fee that's going to the exchange. And then over on Coinbase, their withdrawal fees are a little bit less. For some reason, my on-chain transaction fees from Coinbase Pro have not been as high as I've seen on Strike. But on Strike, you're not paying that 0.5% transaction fee every single time you buy Bitcoin. So this is great for large purchases, but the reason it's not great for single day dollar cost averaging purchasing every day is because you want to avoid this on-chain transaction fee as often as you can. So I would suggest only doing this with large purchases that you're making monthly or bi-monthly or yearly or something like that. If you're making a buy that's a few hundred or a few $1,000s, this on-chain transaction fee is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller percentage-wise relative to the amount that you're sending. And that's what makes Strike really, really good at sending large amounts of Bitcoin. So these are my favorite ways to buy Bitcoin. These are all US-based companies, and none of them have had any major security issues. Gemini and Coinbase in particular, if you're worried about safety, have great reputations in the industry as leaders in the space. To recap, if you're trying to buy with an API, the cheapest way for you to go in the long term is going to be going with Gemini. Their 0.1% maker fees and their 0.35% taker fees are way better than any of the other companies in this list. And then the 0 transaction fee is really a game changer and arguably makes it better than everything else on this list. Coinbase Pro is really great for recurring buys that are very small on a regular basis. Their API is really great too and a lot easier to use. And then if you don't want to mess with APIs at all, but you do want to get that recurring automation, you're going to want to head over to swanbitcoin.com/RET, and I have that link in the description for you. If you go over there, you're going to get started right away automating your Bitcoin purchases. You're not going to have to worry about the price anymore. You're not going to have to mess with any weird technical API nonsense. Swan is going to handle all that for you. And for that privilege, they're going to take a little bit larger of a fee than the other companies on this list. And then if you're making very infrequent large Bitcoin purchases, I think the best way to do it is actually on Strike. And that's because Strike takes no percentage of your purchase. They just have you pay the on-chain transaction fee that you would have paid anyway, sending Bitcoin peer-to-peer or to any wallet really. I'm also really excited to see what Strike comes out with in the next few months. They've announced a global product that is going to have no fees whatsoever and is going to allow you to stream money to anyone in the world, which I think is crazy to even say out loud. I think it's totally going to change the way that we think about money. Instead of getting paid twice a month from your job, you will be able to get paid every 5 seconds from your job. And maybe instead of me getting 30 cents for you watching an ad, maybe I'll get a penny for every second of the video you watch or something like that. The way that streaming money is going to change the world, I think, is we haven't even thought through what kind of things it's going to be able to enable. And so I'm really excited to see what they come out with in the next months and then over the course of this whole year. So those are the best and safest ways to buy Bitcoin. If I left out your favorite way, go ahead and leave that in the comments and I'll check it out. Also, if you have any questions about anything that we covered today, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I do respond to all the comments. Like the video if you learned something, and then subscribe for more tech, money, and success videos that come out every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We blew through 40 subscribers this week, and now we're over 50 subscribers this week, so we're growing at an unbelievable breakneck pace, more than 100% a month. So you're really gonna want to subscribe as soon as possible because we're running out of space on the bus. We're gonna need to get a bigger bus at some point because we're not gonna be able to fit all these people. We have 50 people already. That's an unbelievable number of people. So that's it for today. I love you all. Goodbye.